Good morning. It is 9:26 a.m. on Saturday, September 1st, 2018. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I rewatched Akira last night for the first time in a while. Kind of an out of nowhere decision. But I had watched a YouTube video recently talking about it and just got me thinking how I hadn't seen it in a while. I will say that somewhat like rewatching the movies, going through the AFI's top 100 list, whenever you're talking about important films, right, that are influential in one way or another, you are going to sometimes encounter movies that you can recognize as being super influential and important that have also kind of been surpassed since, right? I'm nothing about Akira is bad. I'm not saying that. I mean, even the end, which admittedly is super weird, that's not inherently a bad thing. It is certainly strange, but that does, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But I guess I just found myself thinking while watching it about, yep, I can see how many other things that have drawn influence from this hyphen things that I like better. I don't know. I may be overstating it, and I'll confess I wasn't watching it. Yikes! I'll confess I wasn't watching it in the optimal conditions, in the sense that I was already a little bit sleepy when I put it on. So it's like I was, had some stuff to drink and was kind of sleeping, and there's the slow parts were, the slower parts, which are fine normally, were leading to me fading a little bit. So, it wasn't optimum. And I don't know why exactly I'm having to defend my lukewarm reaction to rewatching Akira. But I guess what I'm just saying is that for anyone who's a huge fan, I'm not dissing the movie so much as it's true that sometimes when you watch older movies, you can see how before it came out, there was nothing else like it, and it would have blown people's minds. But since then, there are a lot more things like it, and some of which take up the torch that Akira lit and run further with it. Although, even as I say that, I'm trying to think, like, what are the examples I'm thinking of? Well, I don't know, just the explosion of anime as a genre that has become internationally recognized rather than just, just in Japan. There are definitely some, as an animated film, it's one of the things that it does that a lot of anime doesn't. And this is a generalization, but it does not take shortcuts in the animation at all. In fact, my understanding from this other YouTube video I watched is that they actually animated a full 24 frames per second throughout the film, which is kind of amazing because even like the Disney animated films didn't do that. You could argue that it's somewhat unnecessary. I mean, in the sense that I don't think people generally notice the absence of that in other movies. But I think it undeniably makes the animation very smooth in this movie, and it's not like a lot of anime that attempts to save money by having like a significant portion of the running time of any given movie or episode being either static shots or reaction shots of the character who's not speaking, so they don't have to animate the speaking character's mouth, for example. Little shortcuts that, animation is expensive, so they look to save money however they can. I think that's generally a good thing, but sometimes you really notice. But it doesn't do that at all. It's unafraid to tell a really unusual story. Like the super weirdness at the end, that's a brave choice, right? Like, if we want to think about if they were so like that's actually just raises the question, and maybe I'll finish with this, is the idea that there's been lots of talk over the years of making like a big Hollywood version of Akira, and I cannot imagine them doing that and leaving the ending the same. I I doubt it. I don't think so. And I don't think it's necessarily because the ending originally in the animated version there's anything wrong with it. It's super weird though. And that takes courage to put out there. And I think that a Hollywood version would pull the punch. We would have to see, I guess, but that would be my guess. Anyway, I think I'll go ahead and leave it there. So tomorrow is Sunday, and so I will be kicking into the Endless 8 Part 2 for my Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya rewatch, and that's where the nature of the Endless 8 is revealed. And so we'll talk about that tomorrow, and in the meantime, I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.